All right. Welcome back to another week,
Incredible.
another episode of There Will Be Duds. I am once again, as always, TJ.
Hi, I'm Nick, also known as Dr. Funk. This is...
I'm the Super General, aka Travis.
And then
Man, listeners at home
we
are
also
really
have
missing out on this.
Isaiah. Yeah, the podcast listeners are really missing out on this really obnoxious bullshit.
I feel like it, I feel like it adds to the atmosphere or the found footage nature of this film.
That's true.
Yeah.
Joining us from Kentucky is
Oh my God,
Travis and Isaiah.
I look like I'm from Kentucky.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
And this week, a couple of us watched a movie.
Yeah.
Others started watching a movie, but also did some other stuff. I actually didn't really have anything big. There's like a couple like random things that like saw or whatever from this last week, but I didn't really watch much or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. What? The only thing I have is, again, X-Files, which I feel like I've kind of exhausted that. Although we did just watch 2 really good episodes. When that show does the main story episodes about the government and like the smoking man and all that, it's such a good show. It's such a good show. But then there'd be, actually I was gonna make fun of like the Gargoyles episode, but the Gargoyles episode was actually pretty good too. So I watched like the first 3 episodes of Gilmore Girls with Chloe, and
Why?
Because I was packing my stuff because I'm moving in about a month.
He kicked you out because you were watching Gilmore Girls?
I think Gilmore Girls is interesting because, we listened to another podcast like kind of review it and like in the lens of like the culture that was like around that time, like the early 2000s, where like the show is basically like rich people problems, which I think is interesting in some ways. Like, the worst thing that could ever happen is that Rory goes to Yale instead of Harvard, which is just like very funny when those are the stakes. But that's really it. Don't have much to say.
This is all super sus, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happened to listen to a Gilmore Girls podcast.
No.
I just watched the first 3 episodes.
No, it was a pot.
I just got a tattoo.
Hey, look. Okay.
And it was Gilmore Girls.
Rory is my spirit animal, okay? See, it sucks because I want to have an intro topic because this movie that we watched this week is poison to me. I take psychic damage thinking about it.
Yeah, I like kind of along the lines of like being more aware of like just kind of like rich people problems or blah 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 whatever they're like frozen down there. Just being kind of more like socially aware about like dumb tropes and stuff like that in media, or like just things that I just like that just like bug me more now. And I guess what I'm like in a roundabout way getting around to is again working on my decade lists video last night, and I was on a movie that has it was the Avengers, and it's like at the end where they're all like rallying like citizens around and blah blah blah, and then there's a bit where there's like a bunch of like NYPD like officers like helping civilians out of like buildings that are getting blown up and shit like that, and then like Captain America comes up and he's like, hey, we're working together, blah blah blah, and it's all like I get pissed seeing police officers like in movies now. Just like in general I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like they get like painted as like heroes and shit and bullshit like that. It irritates me now. And rich or like white people problems are just so like, not that like I guess I'd never like noticed that shit before, but it's like it's either just because I'm older or because it's just more of a
you're more
thing yeah, in the cultural zeitgeist that more.
We should make TJ watch like World Trade Center, and just like see how long it takes for him to like commit harakiri and just kill himself.
I mean, honestly, I would say me or Travis have probably seen the most girls, and that show is like almost as bad as watching this movie.
What show?
Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure at one I described it as a mess of Clerks.
What show?
What show?
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Menopausal Clerks.
Menopause.
Oh.
And then Olivia loves it too.
Well,
And
I don't know if I would say Kelly loves it, but she's seen it all.
it's like Olivia's like Sunny. She just will, or no, I guess maybe her Community. How she'll just binge the whole series, just out of a like on a whim.
And then she blasts a high PSI fart on your leg.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't think the show is necessarily bad, but I think I would watch it for different reasons than like, I don't know, say someone who has a comparable mother-daughter dynamic. Because like, yeah, because like Lorelai Gilmore's dad, like whatever the rich guy, like he's definitely like, I saw his house in the show, and it's just like, I know, thank you, I know, but it's just like, oh, this is like a Jeffrey Epstein house. Like that dude has been to Little St. James. Like he's old rich money, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's like the lens that I was like watching it through. Also, the mom is so like, no one talks like that. It's so annoying. Like the
banter that they have is so like fast and quick-witted that it's just not even
possible.
It's not possible. It's not realistic.
It's
That's
like
why I compared it to Clerks. 'Cause it's like
every time somebody speaks, it's like this is a script. It's like
yeah.
I'm not like getting immersed in the story because it sucks.
I actually was gonna agree with you, Nick, after like your first 3 words, which I think were, "It's not necessary." I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Anyway,
the entire show is not.
Anyway, so what are your opinions on The West Wing?
I was just gonna say, the way that you guys were talking about it, I was like, so Gilmore Girls is like beyond Sorkin or something like that, like Mad Max 3 Beyond Sorkin.
Smart. Those people are smart. This isn't like a fucking. It's not comparable. It's a completely different setting.
You're not talking about. It's less the subject matter of the dialogue, but it's how the dialogue is delivered. That's what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
So
which is very. You can compare it to West Wing, but like West Wing, it's believable because like that's their job, and that's like.
But
I do not believe for a second that that's how politics actually runs. I do not believe that for a second.
I also think that it's not only just how the speediness of it, but it's also just like what they're saying. It's like you did not think of that in a quarter of a second.
Well, yeah.
And it's always
but that's
horrible. Dialogue is horrible. It's pun.
Yeah.
Shitty joke. Fuck Gilmore, Nick.
I'm not defending it either way. I'm simply saying it is an interesting microcosm of a TV show through a cultural lens. Sorry, I'm getting all erudite podcaster on you, but I'm not saying like I endorse everything that goes on in this show and everything that the characters have to say and how they say it. I think it's interesting.
I agree. I don't think that's how actual politics works. At least not anymore. It's definitely a fictionalized version of how.
Travis and I are gonna have like we're gonna have an East of Eden yelling match at each other over Gilmore Girls in the West Wing.
I don't feel as passionately about West Wing as I do about like moral issues. You can not like West Wing. I think it is like it's a fair comparison. It's just different because they're just like
one's just got broads in it and doing bitches be shopping.
I mean, that's what we need to boil it down to. Like, there's no way. It's because they're women, really. Like, they wouldn't be able to.
It's not for us. It's not for us.
Yeah.
No boys allowed. Well, do we want to do we want to rip this Band-Aid off?
Yeah, I guess I also wanted to mention really quick. It's not like a review or anything, but just I wanted to mention to you guys in case, I don't know, I could just be streets behind on this, but did you know that Conan stopped doing a show?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on. People were sharing like classic Conan bits on Twitter, so I saw a few of those. I saw the Walker Texas Ranger clip with Haley Joel Osment. I saw that one, which I think we saw live in Lansing.
Yeah. I remember that there. Or it was like one of those. It was like part of that bit or whatever.
I don't know. I kind of felt bad that I wasn't interested in it because I like love Conan, but I just didn't care. Also, he's not like done. He's just moved like a weekly format.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, he's going to HBO. That's what I thought I heard.
Well, I don't know. I saw a couple of people like talking about it online, and basically, like they said that like people like Conan, but like the format of like the Tonight Show or like Late Night with Conan O'Brien just kind of blows. Like I think Conan's strong suit, and what's always been his strong suit, is like writing, because like he wrote for The Simpsons, like his early shows, like he was in a writer's room with like Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, like all those guys.
God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
not giving me.
I really don't like Jimmy Fallon. I cannot stand Jimmy Fallon. It's just so like, oh, we've got to do 5 shows a week.
Yeah.
Bring anybody on, and I'm gonna laugh as hard as I can at like every single thing they say. I'm like, pretend it's entertaining.
Yeah. I'm gonna tousle Donald Trump's hair.
I'm gonna slip in a fuck Dakin here because he loves Jimmy Fallon.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he do.
I think Jimmy Fallon has like the capacity to be funny, like he has before on SNL, but
yeah,
as like a leading man for anything, no, I don't think so. Absolutely not.
Being Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah,
like I think
he's saying like he
fever pitches.
Yeah, I used to really like he was one of my favorite people when he was on SNL, and I was like, sweet, he's in movies. Oh, sweet, he's like doing other stuff. But then I don't know. As soon as he went to Tonight Show, I just kind of he's like it's reminiscent of like this, like why I don't like Chris Hardwick, who did like stuff on G4 TV, and he does the AMC like Talking Dead, like the post show like talk show things, and like it's like just being their level of like excitedness and happiness at everything is so over the top that it just makes it feel so fake. And it's just so irritating. And like I'm sure like at the same time, like if I mean, I'm saying like me hypothetically, who is like not somebody who has been in show business for years, like both of them, but like if I was like thrust into their position, yeah, I'd be fucking excited. Like, yeah, but so like maybe they are, but I don't know. It just comes off as really fake to me.
Yeah, it is. It's very disingenuous. Genuous. Yeah, that one. It definitely comes off as fake and just like. Because it laughs so hard at shit that's not even really that funny. Just
well, yeah. Well, it's also like whatever you see on TV is like a watered down version of them as well. So like, yeah, any sort of like genuine excitement or anything is going to be like, you know, our market tested, audience tested, like that kind of stuff. So it's just like that's like I don't know. It bums me out. And maybe they enjoy these shows, but whenever I see like Ken Jeong doing like whatever reality singing dancing competition, it's like you were Chang on Community. You have the capacity to be like a very, very funny actor, and then it's just like, why are all these actors like hosting game shows now? Like, are you that desperate, or like do you really feel passionate about like game shows?
I think they're easy. I think that's it.
I get the bag.
I think they're easy, and they're probably fun. Like,
that's true.
I love The Masked Singer. Like, unabashedly, that's one of my big guilty pleasures. I love that show.
Every time I'm at home and my mom is watching it,
you get sucked
in my
in.
heart of hearts, I think it's like so dumb. But then as soon as I sit down and I'm transfixed by it.
And like, I gotta say, the most recent season had some crazy. I think I already mentioned Kermit the Frog, but one of the later reveals, they had fucking Hanson on it. All three of them were on it. That was cool. But anyways, like watching Ken Jeong on that, and having listened to every commentary for Community like ever, just. He is that kind of dude. He like that sort of like excitable, really, like, I think he just seems to me like a dude who's like just has fun with like any sort of job. And that's why, like, I don't always like think his goofs are funny and stuff on The Masked Singer and stuff, but he's a dude that I like, because he's just like, he does seem like he's genuinely just like having fun doing what he does.
If you watch the Community bloopers, he seems like he breaks like so easy, and it seems like it would get frustrating like really quickly, like how easily he breaks.
I don't think he does, but he has mentioned there was like a couple bits, and I can't remember what the one was, but ones were like he just like couldn't get it down, and like he felt like so bad because he could tell that people were getting annoyed with him and whatever. But he specifically mentions like one or two bits from the show that where it was like really like that. But I mean, yeah, but everybody does on a sitcom like that. I don't know. Maybe. Going back, because I had the segue for it, but I just wanted to shout out Conan.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein, Michael Goi, who directed,
wait,
Megan is Missing.
Is there an Epstein connection?
I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
But he's a fucking creep.
Okay, I got you now.
Regarding children.
Okay, I understand now.
Megan is Missing.
Yeah.
The movie all my viewers that I had 10 minutes ago were probably waiting for us to talk about.
Here it is, everybody. We're finally doing it.
Okay.
We've heard your demands.
So, first off, I'm sorry. Second off, this movie follows. It's a supposed like real account. What's the term we were
found
using
footage.
It before? Found footage.
Yeah.
Found footage movie of these two girls who are friends, and it says right at the beginning of it that they went missing, and like this footage was found later, and blah blah blah, and so that's what happens. They both go missing, and yeah. Only me and Nick watched it out of those of us on the show. So I guess we can kind of so I'll usually that's what I do for the plot overview, but I guess I'll go a little more in depth.
Chris
for you
Chris
guys,
just said, speaking of
case.
found footage, is Travis trying for a reboot of the Blair Witch?
Yeah, that's kind of what we were saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a lot for Travis and Isaiah to kind of be more caught up to speed. So, I would say the movie's about, it's like an hour 20, hour 30. The first like half of it, I have to mute Isaiah again. I'd say the first half, the first like 45 minutes is pretty much just these two girls, Amy and Megan, hanging out. They go to a party. They're friends, but they're like kind of the complete opposite, almost to like a comical degree. Like Megan is like, she does drugs, she drinks, she sleeps around, and then Amy is like this really innocent,
like goody two shoes type character.
Yeah, she has a really good relationship with her parents. Megan is like her only friend at school. But yeah, the first half is pretty much just kind of like following them, just like hanging out. And then Megan goes missing. And then it kind of then focuses obviously just on Amy as she's trying to find her, and also it's intercut with some news footage and other stuff tracking Megan's disappearance. And then with about like a half hour to go, Amy also gets they're not even listening. I'll just finish it for the podcast sake.
Yeah.
The last like half hour or whatever, Amy also gets abducted, and then the last 20 minutes is supposedly like an unedited footage of her in the killer's like dungeon as he tortures our words. I don't know if we're censoring that. And then buries her alive.
The R word in question is rape, not the other R word. Just to be just to be clear.
Yeah, he R's her.
I'm not S-ing around.
And yeah, that's the movie. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing much more to it than what I just said.
Well, it's like the movie. I was getting like mixed messages throughout the whole movie, because I think the idea was that it was supposed to be like a sort of realistic cautionary tale to parents about talking to, because that's what happens is Megan meets this guy on the internet, skater dude. I was going back and forth between, oh, okay, that's like a pretty realistic depiction of like teenagers and how teenagers act, and then on the other end of the spectrum, I was like, this was written by a 40-year-old man, because like there were moments where I felt like the characters like were genuine in the way that they talked to each other, and then she's like, he reminded me of that creepy dude from Seven, and it's like, you're a suburban teenager in LA in like 2007. I highly doubt that you've seen the movie Seven. I don't know, that just like stuck out to me. It's just like, oh, Kevin Spacey, cool. Like, that's definitely like, I think the references would have been more up to date if it was written by like someone, you know, who wasn't, again, like a 30 to 40-year-old dude. I also thought it was hilarious that like during the main party scene at the very beginning, the music that was playing was like exclusively like instrumental classic rock sounding stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's like, again, if it's 2007 and you're teenagers in like California or LA, you are not listening to like classic rock guitar riffs. You're listening to like rap and hip hop, but obviously like he couldn't get the licensing for all of that, and you know, so that was, I don't know, I thought that was funny too. Okay. I felt like also like the movie was trying to be satirical in some spots, where I was like, again, mixed messages. I can't tell if this is supposed to be like a serious cautionary tale, or if it's supposed to like be sort of a satire of like sensationalist news media regarding these cases, because the way that they do like the news broadcasts, and then like the scene with like they hired like some actors to do a reenactment of the footage of Megan getting abducted. And okay, I think the actor that played Josh in the reenactment, I think that was the actual guy.
Oh, that'd be great if like in universe that was him too. Like,
that's what
the actual killer, like,
I'm pretty sure it was him. Like, he was Australian, but he had the same like sort of like timbre of his voice, like the same sort of quality.
Oh.
Like I think like surfer dude Josh in the chat room was that guy, like covering up his Australian accent, because I didn't see a credit for, because there was a credit in the end credits for like actress Megan.
Mm-hmm.
There was
I noticed that.
There was not a credit for like reenactment Josh. So I think that was the same actor who actually plays Josh.
Huh. Good eyes.
Yeah.
In the credits there.
Yeah, again, I couldn't tell if it was trying, because like because the way that they did like the reenactment of her kidnapping, the guy, they sounded like typical like Hollywood airheads, where he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm just like trying to bring awareness to it, and like I think this might actually help the cops where they haven't looked if we do like a reenactment. And I was like, okay, are you trying to satirize that like sensationalist thing? But then, and then you also get like these weird moments where like these 13-year-old girls are making references to like Matt Damon movies, which that made me laugh. Oh, Matt Damon looks kind of gay to me. Like,
yeah, I bet he doesn't surf.
I bet,
or whatever, or skate.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know what. Go ahead.
The only I kind of going off the news thing, which like that whole like, oh my god, their fucking Windows Movie Maker scene transitions. And,
I wrote
like,
Neil Breen ass news segment. Like it reminded me of Neil Breen
for real.
movie.
Yeah. And to go off of that, because it was like the one like joke, sort of. I mean, I think it was supposed to be a joke. And it was kind of like, it was like the one moment where it kind of like hit the mark for me. I was like, oh, okay. That seems like that's like satirizing like news media, where it's like during the second news segment, I think, and there's like a reporter lady, and she's like, we'll have more on this grisly kidnapping of this innocent girl later. Yeah. And she's like, after the break, a cocker spaniel saves his family from a car wreck or something like that. I was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Very mismatched in tone throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying, like, I thought that was the idea. That it's like, this is what the news is like. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that seemed very intentional.
That one bit, it kind of worked, yeah. But then, yeah, speaking of the reenactment, what the fuck was that reenactment? Where it's like this like low frame rate, and then she's like, "Bye, mom," I guess, and then there's like whoosh, whoosh, the red flashes, and then the dude grabs her, and he says like in a weird voice, "You're trespassing," or something. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
that's not a reenactment. That doesn't.
Yeah,
count.
They have none of those details. They were just adding their own details to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've kind of talked about this, but like this is a movie from 2011, which I'm trying to think of like what was going on around then. Like I feel like the found footage genre kind of got started by like Blair Witch. Well, I mean, there's what's that?
Yeah.
Cannibal Holocaust is considered like found footage.
Yeah, I would say Blair Witch is more where it
got popularized.
Yeah. Blair Witch and was like, I wouldn't say it was until like Paranormal Activity and Cloverfield was where it kind of really blew up for those few like next 5 years or whatever.
Oh yeah.
This movie was actually like made in 2006, like when it was set or whatever.
Oh, that's
right.
It
just took that long to get like distribution and stuff. I don't know the specifics if it's because
also I think
thought
no
it was
studio
garbage
wanted to touch
or they
it.
thought it could be something like that too. So maybe it was a little more like on the ball like when it was made or whatever, but then like by the time it came out, it's like we're supposed to be scared of like I remember I was telling Clea like at the end of it that like I remember around this time, like 2006 2007, and like my mom wouldn't let us have MySpace or something because she didn't want us talking to anybody online who you don't know is bad, and like it was kind of like a big like fear that a lot of parents had at the time. Just like social media being a thing, it's just the assumed thing is like if anybody's talking to your kids, it's probably somebody's gonna do something bad to them or whatever.
Right.
Like you had a To Catch a Predator, like that was big around then too. And
and I think in a way those types of like, again, like the news broadcasts that we saw in the movie, those types of things are actually like in a way detrimental to preventing this kind of stuff from happening, because in real life a majority of the time when people are kidnapped, assaulted, murdered, it's usually someone that they know in real life. So this whole idea of like the stranger hiding in the parking lot, that's like, it does, I mean, not to say that it doesn't happen, but
sure,
that's mostly Hollywood shit. That's mostly like movies.
Yeah, I was gonna add, I did not like some context to the movie. This was intended as one of those like message movies, as like kind of what we were saying. I know just from what I've like read or heard about it or whatever that like that was the intent. Is it's supposed to be like, this is an important movie that this will happen to your kids, blah blah blah. Like I'm trying to think of like other like comparisons, but I don't know.
I was gonna say Unfriended, but I think that's more straight up horror than like this movie's like trying to be in like this could happen in real life, and like I think that's my big problem, is that it doesn't. I mean, I have a lot of problems, but I think it doesn't really stay on one like message for very long before it switches to like the sensationalist news stuff, and then it's just like I don't know. I think like on one hand it's like, is this a good portrayal of this? Because that kind of stuff should make you feel like sick and uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But also it's just like, it also felt like incredibly exploitative and like gross. Like I was reading about it, and like some of those scenes, like because like this isn't a movie where it's obviously that it's like a 20-year-old playing like a high school person. These are like actual like teenagers in this movie. And like, again, I'm not even gonna say I recommend anyone watch it. I'm not gonna say like, if you want more context for this podcast, go and watch it. Don't do that.
No.
Let us do that for you.
Sorry. That was like the only thing that we noticed in the movie, was that it was like they were supposed to be 13 and they looked like 20 something, and then like what was the last thing that you said?
Oh, I mean, in this movie, they were teenagers. They were like a couple years older than what they said they were.
I think
like they were like 16, 17.
Megan was 18, and then Amy was. All I know is that she was underage, because that's
wow.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you why. I mean, I can tell you why I know that, but
I'm going to. You guys said don't watch it, but I'm still gonna watch it.
You should watch it. Yeah, I think you have to. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not. I'm here only in spirit, basically.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the punishment.
We'll watch it.
Yeah, take your lumps.
Yeah.
We'll probably watch it on the way home tomorrow.
Oh, good. That'll be definitely a movie that won't make you want to drive off the side of like the freeway.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say drive into the sunset.
It's like I wanna be clear. Yeah. I want to be clear about like this, like discuss with it. Is like there's plenty of like I watch plenty of disturbing movies. I went on a kick of watching the most like extreme movies I could for a while, just to like go out there, like Cannibal Holocaust, Serbian Film.
Yeah, we watched a Serbian film together.
Like all that stuff, and there's some pretty disturbing, fucked up stuff in those. Like I've seen torture in movies. I've seen rape before. And the thing is they don't really show. They kind of show the rape, but like all the torture and all the other stuff is off screen in this movie. It's not actually shown. But the reason it's so gross is because of everything before it. The movie is so bad and just off message, and like it's the fact that it is trying to be a message movie, like be important, and then it's just like you're just gonna show a fucking 14-year-old girl get raped for like 4 minutes straight, and just don't cut it because that's realistic. We're trying to be.
It sounds like Ben and Arthur though. Like it's a straight up message movie that does not get
straight up message.
Sure, but
yeah, I guess those are the only two things it has in common. Then
no, I think there's a difference between the kind of like message movie that Ben and Arthur is and the message movie that this is. I think this is more like I really wish I could like think of comparisons, but there's movies where like I think Ben and Arthur was also just trying to be like a good movie. It was trying to be like a movie, but it was also trying to be like, I said trying to be. But it was also like, well, I want to, represent my community and like the hardships that we go through. But
sure.
This, I think this kind of movie is like the message is primary. The message overrides everything else. And when your message is so like fucked because the rest of it is so bad, it's just like none of it is earned.
Yeah.
And you just feel gross because you're just like, it just feels like this dude is indulging himself, and it just feels really fucking gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
the party, the party scene, like at the very beginning, like it's going for like that gritty, edgy realism, but it's just like again, it doesn't earn it at all.
Yeah, like it. I guess what I'm just trying to say is like I don't want people to be like, oh, they're freaked out because it's so extreme, because it's so effective, but it's like, no, it's not. It's just it's gross because like for like all the bad reasons that it should feel that way. Like
I feel like it tries to have this social commentary, social like message, but like because it's so extreme, it almost like bleeds into like so over the top unrealistic that it's almost like you don't take it seriously because it's such it becomes a caricature of itself.
Yeah. Well, like when it got to like the photos, the two photos that it shows, I like neither of us reacted to it, and then when they were over, I was just like, I said like to Clea, I was like, what was the point of that? Why did they show that? And like that's kind of like the summation of like the whole movie is like
literally
why?
The scene. So there's like a scene where
it's
Amy,
for shock value is
where
the answer.
Amy gets she gets a camera for her birthday. She gets like one of those like hand cams, and she's like doing, this is my my vlog, my life thing. And there's like a scene where she's just like, oh well, let's pretend to do like an interview, and then Megan sits down and starts talking, and she's like kind of making jabs at herself about like, oh yeah, I have a great life and I have a great relationship with my mom, and then she just suddenly starts talking about like her stepdad and how her mom and it's just like literally I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like that's what I wrote down in my notes. I'm like, what is this?
And like okay, to kind of get back about my I guess I should just say these are, well, I guess I'm not making any real statements other than just like I think the director is pretty fucking gross. But so I looked at I was just kind of like I said, I like to like look at reviews and stuff after I watch stuff, and I saw one from like when the movie came out of like a positive review, and they were talking about like things that he mentioned in the commentary, the director's commentary. So apparently this is from Michael Goi's own mouth.
Welcome to my twisted mind.
but told through a review on, so this is kind of a heard it through the grapevine. But he said, like, to get the realistic dialogue, which, because one of my first notes was, this is the ultimate example of, like you said, Nick, middle-aged dude writing teen girl dialogue. But it said, like, how he got to like get the realism is he, like, went to, like, his, like, producers' kids. He, like, went to house parties with them and just kind of, like, hung around, I guess.
No.
And then like, their conversations, like, for instance, the one where Megan goes really in depth about like, giving the dude a blowjob and gets really, like, into like the nitty-gritty details. Again. By the way, I underlined this. I put, these girls are 14, Michael. 14 years old. But
there's commentary for like the review. That's like cheating.
This is a positive review too. This guy liked the movie.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because he had the directors, like, there the whole time, like, hand holding him through all the shitty parts. Like, well, here's what this is supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
It was really messed up in the director's commentary when Michael Goi said that he went into chat rooms pretending to be Surfer Dude 69 and actually lured some girls into his basement.
Okay.
And,
okay.
Oh, he went that.
You're making
some real method acting here on the director's part.
He had them actually come into his basement, and then he was like, "Oh wait, no, this is all pretend." Like, he came away there, and then he's like, "Now I'm gonna stop."
Yeah. So he didn't go. He didn't go quite that far, but where I was going with that is that, like, to imitate their dialogue, like their conversations, like, i.e. that blowjob one, apparently is from real conversations that Michael had with preteens and teenagers. And it also said that he joined online pedophile forums to understand how they think. And to me, again, this is just allegations from yours truly, but
satire parody.
I think he was just looking for an excuse to join a pedophile forum online. That's the statement I'm gonna make.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, now I got them in my basement. I'm definitely not going to John Wayne Gacy them.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put them under my fucking floorboards.
Yeah, pick your favorite.
My crawl space.
Are you thinking? No, I think that's Ed Gein. I don't know. Maybe John Wayne Gacy. Well, yeah. Did he do under floorboards?
Yeah, this director is definitely on some watch lists.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Again, I kind of laughed when you mentioned Epstein, but
yeah. What if he joined the forums first, and then he got questioned by, like, the FBI or whatever, and then he's like, "No, I'm making a movie."
Oh.
And that would make more sense, as if this script was thought up in, like, an hour, as he's, like, furiously typing it on his computer to have an excuse when the FBI shows up to his house.
He's just riffing. Yeah. He's just like,
yeah, I know.
Oh,
shit. The weird thing is I would say that it is weird that there's pedophile, like, forums, but I've played games online with random people enough to know that, like, there's stuff that, like, gets past. I don't know. I read something. I don't even really want to repeat it, but, like, anti-Semitic stuff. That's just like, how is that even, like, how are those words even allowed as, like, like a username or anything? Like, how is that even possible? So, like, on one hand, you're like, how the fuck are there pedophile forums? And how is it so easy to find that a director who's just, like, trying to research this is just like, did he just Google pedophile? Like, he had to do some, like, hardcore research to find this shit. And also, Isaiah says that he directed Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Oh, I think he did. Yeah. The dude. He's normally, I guess, like, a cinematographer. He's done, like, American Horror Story.
So this is his passion project.
He has a few Emmy nominations. Like, he's not
a complete nobody. But this one is. If you go on his thing, this is the one that I think this is the only one he wrote. He's directed like a couple others, but this is the only one he like wrote, directed, executive produced, like it did the whole thing. So I think that's key for these, right? Like, have we had any of our our Bad Cup, has any of the movies not been written, directed, produced, shot, like edited by the same person?
Yeah, I think that is key. But this is like the other end of the spectrum, whereas Ben and Arthur or like Neil Breen movies are funny and quirky and like, you know, indicative of the director's like view of the world and view of himself. I feel like on the opposite end, this is also his view of the world and view of himself. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. I would almost say like the first half-ish, I was still feeling gross because of like some of those conversations they were having. Yeah. But there was like, I was thinking like, okay, this is like, it's definitely a dud, but I was like, if we're going on like I don't want to get into the ratings just yet, but
you just parted the kimono a little bit there.
But I guess I was thinking the first half-ish, I was like, there's some of like ironic redeeming qualities of it. I'm like, you know, there is some bad acting to laugh at the beginning. Sure. You know? There's some pretty bad acting throughout. There's some funny stuff like at the party, like where I was like, when it's like showing the kids all like standing and dancing, I'm like, are those kids like, are they holding flashlights and that's how they're lighting the room?
Yeah,
because that's what it
in
looked
like a warehouse or
we saw that part.
That was like in my notes. I was like, whose house is this? Also, I mean, again, they filmed it in 2006. At that point in time, there might have been like, like there might have been the iPhone at the time, but like there was certainly not
camera quality.
There was certainly not like they're not like FaceTime or whatever. So it's just like, but again, like do teenagers have conversations like this where it's all like screens or FaceTime or like Skype or whatever? But I did,
especially in 2007.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you notice how, I was just gonna say how like when she's calling the different people to see where Megan is, every time they pick up and hang up the phone, they do it like by doing this.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, I'm hanging up now.
Yeah. I did laugh pretty hard when like,
that's like the Mark Rober shit.
Yeah.
Pretty much any YouTuber.
Yeah.
See you there. We're going over to the racetrack.
Yeah.
I laughed pretty hard when whatever the dude that was having the party was like, "Sup, ma?" Like,
yes, that was my first note. I was gonna say that was a genuine like laugh from me. He hit it so hard. It was good. Sup, ma?
In that same like transaction of words, conversation, he's like, he goes like, they're like, "Oh, can I bring Andy?" And he's like, he's like, "Nah, you can't." Why not? And he's like, "'Cause it's my party and I make the rules."
Oh, yeah. Girls only.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the MVP of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I was gonna mention in my notes, talking about like the news segments, I was just like, the fact that like the news anchors, every time they talked about Megan, it was like, the prettiest girl in school, Megan, has gone missing, or like the sexiest teenager in whatever high school has gone missing. It's like that's the only way they
kidnapped.
talks about her. It was just like,
yeah, I noticed that too. That was really weird.
Is it satire or is it not? Like, what are you trying to make fun of the news or not? I couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually pretty awkward because we are in a public place and you guys are talking about like rape of children, and
TJ's talking about how he likes watching torture.
Yeah.
Bring it up with Michael Goi.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting to more like I'm not typically super like I don't get super for found footage movies. I know some critics can be very like nitpicky about like, oh, they wouldn't be filming this, blah blah blah, but like I had that so much with this movie. Like
it's so convoluted. Like I'm going to make a video diary of my life. How convenient.
Yeah, but also that like her camera only made up for like 30% of the footage. Like the rest of it was like all like their phone conversations where everybody has, like you said, like really nice cameras for 2006, 2007, whatever.
Yeah.
And
horrible audio.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, whatever like 2007 MacBook Pro their rich parents bought them, you know, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
I literally could not even like hear it, or like it was like hurting our ears because of how
it was
like, bad.
There's some bits where it's not
so loud, and
well, I think
just like the white noise in the background was so
I think you watched like a version of the movie that someone like had on in their room and they filmed it with their camera phone, because the one that I watched was not like that. It was still like bad audio, but it wasn't like I didn't have to crank it or anything.
Oh,
okay.
going back to the found footage thing, I think like those movies, if you kind of like buy into the concept, it makes it a lot better. But really the only like way that it's like truly acceptable is like if it's about a monster that swoops in and DTs people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way that it's like, well, just a blanket across the top is acceptable.
I was gonna say that like, you know, like Chronicle, like why the fuck would they be filming when there's like the final showdown?
Yeah, that is a pretty
like, throwing buses at each other and shit. It's like that movie's good, so you kind of just forget about like
that's kind of what I mean. Or like Cloverfield's kind of the same deal.
Yeah,
Cloverfield. It's just like it's actually good, but yeah, with this it was like it was just.
Well, Cloverfield was the example I was actually thinking of, because I remember standing up in the theater afterwards and like yelling because there was a bunch of like preteens that were just like and I was like, shit. I don't remember what I said, but I like
I remember you said learn to appreciate a good movie. Because they said that sucked. They said it sucked because like everybody dies at the end or whatever.
Oh.
I wish I wouldn't have brought this story up because that's such a douchey film boy thing to say.
I mean, kind of, but it was okay because dumb teens. I mean, I think you can flex a little.
Although I think at that point I was still technically a teenager, so it's acceptable.
Sure.
I was like 18, 19 maybe.
Oh no, you would have just been about 20. I think that came, or no, maybe that was 2007. It was 2007 or 2006.
I remember.
Oh well, whatever.
You stood up and said that? Because I saw that with you guys in theater.
Yeah, it was. Andy was there. I remember Andy was there. We had like a kind of a group, but anyways.
Yeah.
The party that attended Cloverfield is not like instrumental to this podcast.
Yeah. The party that is the party at the beginning of Megan is Missing, which was one of the big examples of that like dumb like, because that footage isn't even Amy's camera. It's just some dude was going around the party with a camera, and it looked like a nice camera because there's a part where you like see the shadow and it has like a mounted like boom mic and like light and stuff. But anyways, that one like really bugged me because it made me think of the show American Vandal. I don't know if you guys have watched any of that. It's a great show.
I know the premise, but I haven't seen it.
That is a great satire of like crime documentaries and stuff. It's really good. It's like got the dumbest premise. The crime that's committed is that like a student like spray painted dicks all over the teachers like cars and stuff and gets expelled for it. But it's a really good show. But anyways, there's this part like later on in the first season where they're like they have another suspect and they're like, oh, they were at this person's house party, oh, this student was walking around and filming like Instagram videos on his phone. So let's see if we can get any, like, so let's see if we can catch this person at the party, and then we can, like, pin them, you know, then their alibi doesn't work, that kind of thing. So they're looking for somebody at a party. So it's kind of like this, but like in this dude just happens to follow Amy around the party the whole time. But in American Vandal, it's like they have to scour like hours of footage at this party, and they catch like a glimpse of the person they're looking for, you know. I'm like, that seems a lot more like realistic. But it's like in this movie, it's like, well, no, Amy's the main character of the movie, so this random person at the party is obviously going to follow her around because he knows that she's the main character of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not how it would actually be.
We didn't get to the actual party scene. We just got to like the invite part.
Yeah.
We got to the actual party scene where they're they're like shining flashlights at each other, and that's like the lighting.
We didn't get to the end of it though. Did anybody at the end stand up and be like, "Learn to appreciate a good party"?
No, it ends with the guy in the camera telling two girls to make out, and then they say they're not gonna do that for a gross dude to get him off or whatever. They're like making fun of him for being a gross dude, and then he's like, "Well, do something." So then the one girl puts like a pill of like ecstasy in her mouth, and then they make out anyways, and then Amy throws up on their heads. So that was kind of good.
So weird, because that's what we did in the parking lot after we watched Cloverfield.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, I thought it was funny how. Oh yeah, they were like 14 years old.
We already talked about this like 3 times, but they look 20.
No, but he like just pulls out a bag of coke.
Oh yeah, he pulled out a bag of coke.
Like
when he's 14 years old.
When I was 14 years old, I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I know. I
guess it's like it's LA, it's California, so
yeah,
but you know. Still.
I kept thinking they were like 16 or 17. I thought they looked like teenagers. They didn't look like 14-year-olds, but I thought they looked like teenagers.
They were, because they were.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I know. No, they were. But Travis was saying they look like they were like in their 20s. I was just saying I think they look not 14, but they look
17.
At first, I said 17, 18, and then Isaiah brought it up again, and I looked. I was driving at the time, so I wasn't watching. I was mainly just listening. And the second time I was like, oh yeah, they look 20. But I still thought they looked like 17, 18, but I just didn't know what he wanted me to say to acknowledge the fact that they looked older than 14.
Okay.
There was a dude, I don't know if you guys know his name. He was like, he's the guy that had the bag of coke.
No, I think he's like
just Nick when he had long hair.
Oh, great.
Great. Oh, no. You're talking about... If you're talking about the dude I think you're talking about, that dude looked like he was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
The guy that slaps her.
Oh, God, yeah, he slaps her. Jesus. Well, that's...
who's your plug for your coke? Knowing this director, he actually got real coke.
Oh, what? You think because you think all long-haired dudes just know each other? You just think all the long-haired we hang out in the same circles and we
but you're not invited back.
No, that was actually Nick, and the director like roofied him.
Okay. You know 2006? I
2006, Nick.
Yeah,
would definitely
that's
do
true.
coke.
That's true.
Definitely do coke.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Oh yeah.
But that was like the fact that the actors were so young was like an intentional choice, and the fact that they were like randos was also intentional, which like like he chose to make it seem more believable. But it's just like it's really hard not to think that the director has ulterior motives with just how like, and again, maybe he's thinking that he's pushing the boundaries of the limits of, you know, cinema, but it's just like I was like, because all of their parents had to be on set during like those scenes, which I cannot imagine like having. And like the actor who played Josh, he from what I was reading, like when the rape scene at the end of the movie, he had to do multiple takes, and like from what I was reading, just like the actor was getting frustrated with the fact that he had to keep doing this. And it's like, hey, you know what? You could just not show it. You could just, or hire like a stunt double or literally anyone else. You don't have to make like these children play out these scenes. You really don't have to do it at all.
Wait, well, to be fair, at the beginning he did enjoy the rape scenes, and then it got weird after he had to do it.
So
too many times.
Did them being 14 matter at all, like in the sense of the story? Could they have been like any age?
I think it's supposed to just be like you know, your children, your young kids
middle school, high school age children
can be, you know, swept up by someone they meet online, and like I mean, like I don't know if it mattered if they were 14 versus 17, but I mean, I think
Mirror episode.
yeah, kind of. I think it was important that they were kids. You know, I don't know if like what a few years meant, but
yeah, well,
except maybe he was like, except the director was like, yes, they're 14.
Oh my god,
that's so much better than if they were 18.
You think he got
to
people, and then he was like, "How old are you?"
Oh my god!
And then they were like 15, and he was like, "That's too old for me.
Oh god,
too old for this movie."
Ugh.
You said on the pedophile forum that you were 14. I was 14 and a half. I just had my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like on one hand, I feel like at its core, the message about like, be careful who you talk to online. Be skeptical of people who appear more than what they seem online. I feel like, in general, like those messages are relatively true, but sure. I think the way that it's presented, just like the over-the-top nature, the fact that like a majority of the time when these types of crimes happen, they usually are perpetrated by people that the victim knows. I feel like it ultimately does more harm than good, and just reinforces like the sort of like old wives' tale type, you know, like, oh, I saw on the news that all these kids are playing the knockout game where they try to knock each other out, or like, you know, like all those news stories from like that era. It would be like, you know, the 5:30 fluff piece was like, is your teenager huffing Jenkum, the new luxury drug, you know, like more at 6 o'clock, like that kind of shit. I feel like it veers way too far into that territory of just like muddling the message by being so over the top and not really accurate to how these types of situations are played out in real life.
What? Did you guys watch it on YouTube? Yes. YouTube.
I didn't watch it on YouTube. I found like one of those like free movie websites that had it on it.
It was called like peda.file.com.
I had to download. I had to get on the Tor network. I had to download Tor.
Yeah.
They actually, it was, for some reason, it was 100 gigs. A bunch of hidden files. He didn't look into it yet, but the movie itself was only 10 megs. So
yeah,
for research purposes.
Yeah. You're going to federal prison.
It's the director's cut, which is
yeah.
I ordered the director's cut and it came on a flash drive. It was really weird.
99 gigs of him explaining like why it's okay. How come like at least 85% of the movies that we pick have like some controversial like shit behind them? It's either some kind of like Nazi shit or like homophobia shit or like #1 action movie shit.
Wait, yeah, what was wrong with Who Killed Captain Alex?
Who Killed Captain Alex is perfect.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking. I mean, we've probably had a few, but I just think that's
okay. Again, I'm in a public place, so I'm gonna try to. It seems like every week we bring up like something about, we're saying like, oh, there goes another slur, jokingly, of course, but also like.
Well, like yeah, last week we were talking about if they were special or not.
I mean, maybe for a second.
Wait, what was
I
that
don't
movie
know.
last?
American movie.
Oh, the Mark and Mike.
Yeah.
Well,
That was wholesome.
I mean, I think that, I mean, you can confront
We just
problematic.
watched Toy Story 2.
Yeah, I feel like you can confront problematic ideas and problematic themes in movies and like not be this movie. I feel like you can touch on those themes. I feel like you can you can even make a kind of an edgier, boundary pushing movie that like touches on these themes. But this one was just it did it so shittily. It was bad. It was so bad.
I agree with you, and I think we should talk about those. But I think like maybe after like episode 100, let's save the like controversial shit for like like the deep ones.
Yeah,
we're starting off with some like heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, I get this is the only one I would really like lump into, but like
this is the only
it's
one
not
that I would
even,
put
like
a content warning in front of.
Yeah, it's not even like controversial either, because in the sense that like there's no issue. It's just, well, it is controversial. It's not a
pedophiles would disagree with you there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess we're controversial to pedophiles, but like I mean, it's like it's inarguably just like bad and done badly. Like there's no real like question of like morality, like, oh, is it like, are these things justified, is showing these things justified? It's like, no, it's not, because it's a bad movie and it's presented very poorly. Whereas like other ones, it's like I guess I can't really think of any that we've done so far where it's been like, I don't know, been like this. And maybe it's just because those are more, we've mostly done movies that have some subtlety and some nuance, more so than Megan is Missing. But
like honestly, I would rather watch like Salo than the
yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking of it compared to our. I mean, this one has got to be the bottom of our bad cup list.
Oh yeah.
But I was like thinking, would I watch this before I watch the Snyder cut again? Because it's so much shorter. I still think I would. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I don't want to watch either of them. But I'd watch.
That is so much longer. I would sacrifice so long.
I would donate my kidney instead of watching that again.
That's what I mean. Like it is so much longer, but like it's also, as bad as it is, it's not as like offensive to watch, I guess.
At least it has Gal Gadot in it.
I mean, I guess. Jason Momoa.
I mean, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
He's yoked. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is yesterday, Dad, he said, what did he say? Oh, we were talking about La La Land, and he said, "There's no way it's better than Toy Story."
That's so wholesome.
He
to
was
me.
comparing.
It is.
Yeah. Say a movie, he would be like, "It's better than Toy Story."
Or
Is that his favorite movie or something?
No, I think his favorite movie is still Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
but
he
it's
does
not
like-
better
he's
than.
like-
But is it better than Toy
Is it
Story?
better than Toy Story? That's our new rating scale. That's the new rating scale. Is it better than Toy Story?
This is Michael Goi story.
Bro. Michael
Um,
Goi playing with his toys.
Oh,
There is another bit that like really bugged me. Just it was hard to be like critical for that last 20 minutes, just because of how just like dead I was, just from like having to. Again, it wasn't even like it was the hardest thing I've ever like had to watch in a movie. It's just like again
hard.
unearned, and like I guess I would say the fucking burial scene,
Yeah.
where you have to watch him dig a hole in real time because realism or what the fuck ever.
So,
Fuck that.
so
Fuck him.
Yeah, I guess the last 20 minutes are like the peak
the
of
horror
it.
side.
Yeah, because basically what happens, and like the
I
shock
guess
value
this is for you guys too, because the movie, for
ahead.
your guys' reference, the what we're talking about, the last like 20 minutes, it kind of takes like a 180. So take it away, Nick.
Oh, so he's like raping her, and then he stops, and it turns out she's raping him.
No, I guess that's part of it, but
it's a lot like Memento.
For real, this looks sick.
But basically, like this Josh character kidnaps Megan, blah 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 blah, and then he kidnaps Amy too, and then like again,
then he kidnaps himself,
and then he kidnaps himself. And then at the very end, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna let you go home, but I got to put you in this barrel because I don't want you to know where I live." And then the big shock, the big reveal is like he opens up. It's like a 55-gallon barrel. The big shocking moment is like he lifts the lid and you can see like Megan's decomposing body in the barrel, and then he forces her into the barrel and then drives it to like an unnamed location in the woods and like buries her alive in it, and like that's the end of the movie. Like 22.
And like I was saying, the burial thing is like it's literally like 10 minutes long. I think it's about 10 minutes, and it's literally it's like a kind of not super in frame, but like that's the idea because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like he set the camera on the ground and dug a hole and then puts her in it, and it's like I you know how I usually say like for these movies I like set my phone down so I can just pay attention to the whole movie. I actually like left my phone in the other room for this, and I was like, fuck, I wish I had my phone right now.
I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it on my computer, and I just kept clicking to a different tab and looking at something else because like I didn't want to see it.
It was like, oh, it's still going. Okay.
And like
that's what I do with John Wick at the beginning every time. I've never seen that scene.
I would rather watch that scene than this entire movie.
Nah, it hits way too close to home for me.
But yeah, and like the actress, like the whole time while he's digging the hole, she's like basically pleading with him, telling him that she loves him, like that kind of stuff. And from what I read, like she a lot of those lines were like improvised, so it's like I would say the actresses who play like Amy and Megan aren't terrible. It's just very unfortunate. I thought in that scene, like her acting, she sounded like she was begging for her life. So I mean,
there it was okay. I think it could be a lot of that could be chalked up to the dialogue too, because it was like from the get go, the very first thing you see is them standing in the room, and they're like, "I got a new camera." And he's like, then like Megan's like, "I bet you did, bitch," and she's like, "Slut." Like that fucking dialogue is so fucking cringe, and
it
could partly be because of the dialogue, but I didn't think they were very good. I guess during that last scene,
it reminded me of like the Life is Strange games, which are like,
oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and it's just like there are a lot of like, that's hella not cool, like that type of dialogue. It's like, oh, this is a team of 40-year-old dudes writing this.
Yeah, I've never played them, but I watched someone like play through the first one, and he like hated it, like just mocking the dialogue the whole time, and like, yeah, it's those games are pretty fucking corny.
I guess maybe like having like played it myself, like I can. Oh, hold on. No, I don't want to become famous. I don't want. Oh God, ban. Okay, sorry.
Is that Josh?
It was Josh. It was a new message from
want
server
to be
dude.
Famous.
Yeah. Having played the Life is, I guess being like behind the driver's seat in those games kind of adds a little bit to it, like you're making the decisions, but like
sure.
I could look past the corny dialogue for like the through line story that I thought was pretty good. this I could not. I could
Yeah.
really not any redeeming qualities in this at all.
The reason I brought up that ending bit though was because like the only like note I had other than just I put fuck this guy, and his message, I just saw again a note of like it being found footage. Like, so she's filming herself, Amy's filming herself, she gets abducted, the guy takes the camera, he films this like bits and bobs. he films like bits and bobs of him like having her captured and then killing her or whatever, and then he just like dumps the camera for the police to find right by. How does any of that track? What was the point of that?
Well, yeah,
is that him like mocking the police, being like, you'll never find me because I used a fake name online?
Well, yeah, and like, well, it's in the dumpster near that same location where like she kept her teddy bear, which like earlier in the movie she's like filming a scene where she's like, this is where I hide my favorite teddy bear, and then you can see the dude walk into the frame in the background and just kind of like stand there like looming over her, and it's like, it reminded me of like, do you remember Marble
Yeah, that was like early Slender Man, right?
Yeah, it was like 2006, like sort of like in the same vein, found footage like Slender Man stuff. And there were like a few times where like if you paid attention, you could see like Slender Man like at the tree line of the forest kind of looming there, and it kind of reminded me of that, which is like, okay, this is kind of an effective shot. It's like unsettling, but not realistic at all. Like, why would he even? Yeah, why would he get rid of the camera? Why would you leave the tape in it for people to find?
Exactly.
Unless,
I was like, if somebody's gonna film that, it's because they want to keep it for themselves to, you know, relive it or whatever. But like filming it and then just dumping it nearby for the police to like locate the body and whatever, it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and then they like that was like, I can almost say that was like a little effective maybe, but then like later in the movie they like zoom in and show him in the background in that shot, because it's like, just in case you missed it in that earlier scene, here it is. We want to show you all of our tricks.
Yep.
And speaking of zooms, of a doctor zooms, the part where it's showing Megan getting abducted, and I like actually joked, because it's like, here it is, and like, here's the footage of her getting abducted, and it's just her walking behind the thing, and then he grabs her by the arm and they walk away.
Yeah.
And then it's like zoomed 200%.
Yeah.
And then it does it again, and I was like, zoom 300%. And then the movie immediately went zoom 500%, and I was like, oh my god, please go 1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Just keep going until it's
I'm
just
pretty sure
her
like
face.
the dude that's in the security camera footage is the dude that plays the fake, you know, reenactment actor who was like the actual dude. It was so bizarre.
I'm gonna see if I can find that really quick.
Okay.
I'm not gonna look at it too hard, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, the fucking, what was the one girl's name? The one who, like I said, like wasn't gonna make out with the guy at the other girl at the party, and then she did. Like, she was like, there was a part where Megan like called her on the phone, and then she was like, the other girl was like, oh, maybe we could go out for a drink sometime, and like she was like coming on to her or whatever, and then Megan was like, oh, I'm not like into that, you know, like she's just kind of saying like, I'm not into girls, kind of like trying to like let her down. And then like after she goes missing, that girl like goes up to Amy and she's like, she loved me and I loved her, and I was like, oh, what? I don't know.
Well, that was her like Oscar moment, you know, that was her scene to like really lay it on thick.
Well, that was definitely her actor reel scene. I mean, I don't see anything that shows the reenactment, Josh, so you might be right.
I think, which I think in universe is like way funnier than like he's like the dude that's like, yeah, you know, I just think, you know, if we reenact things, you know,
Yeah.
and it's literally him.
But it kind of like how this kind of makes you think of Ben and Arthur, how we were talking about how apparently Sam Ravlich like intended that Victor was actually a closeted homosexual, and
Yeah.
that's supposed to be, but much like my gripe with that being, knowing Ben and Arthur, they would have fucking said it to your face, because that's the only way that movie knows how to be, is like literally telling you all of the things it's intending. I feel like just like zooming in on Josh standing in the background of that shot of Amy, it would have like later been like, that was Josh in the reenactment.
It's the end of The Shiting when it does that slow zoom of me sitting in the car, and it's like the little tiny square.
Yeah, that's it.
We're at an hour and a half. Do you want to just
That was
put this? Do you want to put this
was
thing in
pretty
a 55-gallon barrel and bury it in the woods and never think about it again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Travis will go first.
Oh, okay.
First 15 minutes of it, I would say it's not a dud based on the first 15 minutes, but now because of that, I gotta say it's a dud. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Wait, is that how you rate the bad ones?
What was his name? Steve Giuliani? What was it?
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, Steve Giuliani directed this movie.
You nailed that.
Peter Giuliani?
Is that how you do the duds? You
Yeah,
say if it
it's
is
duds
a
or
dud?
not a dud.
So like, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed it like a Ben and Arthur or Captain Alex, it's not a dud. If it's Megan is Missing, and this is my rating, it's a hard dud for me.
Yep.
It's fucking gross, and Michael Goi is a gross old man.
Yeah.
I mean Steven Giuliani.
Steven. Adele Manzim.
There was some early moments, like I said, where there was some like, you know, funny acting, funny like choices with like
funny
the
bad
news.
teenage dialogue written by
Yeah.
40-year-old dudes. That's like, okay, this is kind of cringy.
Yeah, or like flashlights at the party where it's like you get some of that ironic enjoyment, which is what we're looking for with these bad movies. Is like,
Yeah.
or I mean, I guess genuine enjoyment. There's could be some good ones in there, but like it's that ironic enjoyment that we're looking for, and there's like bits of it, but also really early on there was that blowjob scene, and that was, I gotta say, that was not funny. Like I did not laugh. I was like, I had this face the whole time. I was just like a really like I just like ate piss or something, ate piss crystals.
I give it a 6.9.
Okay,
Great,
nice.
thank you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole reason that I even like knew about this movie before you pulled it out of the cup was the fact that like earlier in like 2020, for some reason this movie got revitalized through TikTok, and it was like people on TikTok being like, this is a traumatizing, traumatic, like trigger warning type movie. And I watched it, and it was like, I guess so, but like I guess I was expecting it to be also like way more graphic than it was. Like obviously it does get graphic, but it was mostly, it just felt gross and not really like traumatized. Like I just felt like it was
not in a, you want to be grossed out in a Safdie Brothers way. That's that's how you want to feel.
This is the dud.
wow. What was that?
Wait, so hang on. I'm gonna try not to cringe while saying this. So it's either a dud, and then what is it if it's not a dud? What do you say?
There you go. You just said
I
it.
say not a dud.
What about like? I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty loose. Like I think
Yeah.
like you don't have to be like, you know, I don't have to just say Ben and Arthur is not a dud. I could say like Ben and Arthur is great. I love it. It's really funny and enjoy, you know. But it's more arbitrary than our 1 to 10 scale for the regular movies.
You could say it's like a dud or it's a bud.
I was thinking a dud or a chud, like the movie Chud.
I don't think I can hold it anymore, so I gotta go.
Go.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I guess we'll say. Oh, you're still gonna hang out.
Okay, cool.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess just final thoughts. I feel like whatever intentions that the director had were completely just destroyed by how gross and exploitative this movie felt, and I feel like it did more damage than good with its message about, you know, being safe on the internet. It just felt needlessly edgy. It was like a this isn't original, but it was like a pizza cutter. It was all edge and no point. But yeah, if it executed the message better, I would almost say like, okay, like you can push boundaries if like the ends justify the means, but I really don't think this was a good example of like a cautionary tale to teach children to be safe on the internet, and I think it was like detrimental to that. So this is a dud, big old fat dud.
You could say dud, and then if it's good, you could say it's a wubble of a dub.
Okay.
Great. That's the last line of the podcast. I'm ending it right after that.
A pud.
Wubble of a dub dub.
Okay. Were you gonna say something or?
Did you guys see the new episode?
No. I haven't watched the previous season either. Like I've seen the first 2 episodes of the season 4 of Rick and Morty.
The first half is garbage. The second half is really good.
Okay.
But the new episode's free on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty good. Sorry that we didn't get to it and we're drunk and
we're still doing the
entertained.
I can't recommend watching it. If you want to, that's your thing, but I cannot recommend it.
No, I watched like we watched like the first 20-25 minutes, and I was like, you know, like I have a hard time like if I have something on, even if I don't like it, like Gilmore Girls.
Sure.
Even though I don't like it, I still watch it because I'm like, it's on, I might as well watch it.
Sure.
This, I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like I was not.
But that's the thing is like you weren't even at like the worst bits. I mean, like kind of, because some of the early dialogue is pretty rough, but like it's really that ending where it all just kind of comes full circle and you're just like, wow, this is pointless and gross and unearned, and it's just shock value. It's just empty shock value.
You know, when you look up like ear rape, like Redbone ear rape, how it's just like just horrible sound.
Yeah.
That was what it was like listening.
Well, again, I think that was just the version. Like,
yeah, that's not how the movie doesn't sound that way. Whatever free thing that you watched on YouTube of someone filming it from their iPhone 6 on like a CRT TV, that's why it sounded like that.
Because every once in a while they'd have like notifications pop up, and I thought that was part of the movie.
It's like the Android like bum 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 like, but it's just like distorted.
That's like kind of meta, because if somebody filmed it on their phone, that's like a found footage copy.
A found footage
a found footage movie.
Wait, so what?
That's what we have to do.
Quality were you guys able to watch it in?
I mean, it's still dog shit. It's still like
240.
It's like maybe 480
like
for me. It was
pretty
not
low.
great.
Because at the beginning of the movie, that it's like describing like what happened, and
could you not read it because it was so pixelated?
I couldn't. No, because there was no punctuation. So it looked like it was like Megan went missing 3 weeks later. It was just like I don't remember the exact sentence, but it was just something like very it was bad.
Yep.
Definitely not a wubba lubba dub.
Yeah, were you gonna say something, or just leading into the?
I was just gonna say, we gotta wait for Travis to get back so we can pull from the cup. Yeah.
Well, actually,
you're gonna be gone.
No, not next week.
Oh, okay.
So what I wanted to do is I talked again with Dagan. He's good to come on next week.
Oh, sweet.
And I let him pick the movie for next week.
Oh, okay, sweet.
So, I guess I can wait for Travis to come back for that. But then no. So what I was saying.
Let me guess. He picked either like Hachi or Old Yeller or
Because he's a dog.
the one where the dog plays basketball.
Airbud.
Airbud.
I can't believe you pulled Hachi, but not Airbud.
Wait, is it 8 Below?
Milo and Otis.
Yeah.
Homeward Bound.
Paul Rudd?
No.
Paul Walker.
Is Paul Walker in that? I know Cuba Gooding.
That's Snow Dogs.
Snow
I'm
Dog.
saying Dagon is a dog.
What's the Chevy
I got
Chase
it.
one where he was a dog? You know what I'm talking about?
That's not. No, that's.
Oh, that's like Shaggy Dog PA or something.
Oh,
I
I thought
think
that
of
was
Turner and Hooch.
no. There's a movie where it was like maybe during Community, like that era Chevy Chase where he was like he did like a talking dog movie where it's just like, man, you must be in a pretty rough spot. Anyway.
Yeah, so I guess I'll reiterate for Travis. Dagon's coming on next week. That's why Isaiah was just talking about him. And I let him pick the movie. But what I wanted to say is I'm leaving the Tuesday after that. So what I mentioned this in the Discord previously is I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna announce the second one on the episode because I guess I want to hold that off for the people listening or whatever until the next one. But I'm gonna give you guys a movie on stream. Fuck, I'll just do it. But I'm gonna give you guys 2 movies, one for next Friday and then one for next. I'm hoping we can squeeze in another episode before I have to go. Is what I'm saying. Like the following, like that.
Okay.
But it's only a few days after, so I'm giving us both movies now, so we have like the full time to watch them. Does that make sense?
If you say Hunt for Red October in the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
For Dagon?
Yeah.
No.
Dagon probably picked Ben and Arthur, and then TJ was like, no.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
just Ben and Arthur again.
The movie that Dagon picked is, I looked up it's The Discovery from 2017, directed by some dude.
That sounds like a sub movie.
I don't think so. I've seen it before, but I don't think there's any submarines in it. Directed by Charlie McDowell. It's a Netflix original, so it'll be on Netflix.
All right.
Sure. Okay.
Well, I'm just glad that it's not something that TJ put in the cup. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Well, the next one could be.
The next one could be.
It probably was in the cup, and TJ's just like, yeah, Dagon picked this.
Yeah. Okay, so that's for next Friday, and then I guess we'll do our sign-offs now, and then once we're on break, I'll give you guys the next movie.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. So, again, hope you didn't actually watch the movie this week. This one actually kind of made me rethink doing the bad cup. But then, you know what? Afterwards, I ended up watching some YouTuber posted a review of Ben and Arthur, just today. And I watched that, and I got to, kind of revisit that. And I was like, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
No, it completely validates that cup. Because they can't all be you can't all have good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
They can't
That's
all
true.
be The Room or Ben and Arthur,
Yeah, you have to have a bad.
That is true.
Yeah.
I guess we can say that we have finally, this with Megan is Missing, we have lived up to the title of the podcast because there was finally a dud.
There was indeed a dud.
Yeah, that's it for me. TJ or J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
Hi, I'm Nick and Dr. Funk, and I'm gonna be sick.
And I'm the Super General, aka Travis, and with us as always, but also never again.
It's a me.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.